My name is Jen, and I am on a journey in order to break free from the destructive patterns of disordered eating and in order to embrace a nourishing lifestyle. My roadmap can be described using an acronym of the word Nourisher. So I'm doing daily video blog posts in order to encourage you, equip you, and keep you up to date on my progress. If this content is helpful or encouraging to you, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and sharing with others. It is my deep desire that these videos would help to ignite nourishing transformations in us all. Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking in with me today. Yesterday I posted a video saying that I was on my way to do a road trip and go on holidays with my girls, and I'm actually already back. The video that I posted yesterday, I actually would have liked to have posted earlier, but didn't have the internet connectivity while I was away that I was hoping for. So I'm now back, have posted that video, we'll check in with you and hopefully post this video for you right away. So thank you for checking back in. Would like to go through the Nourisher acrostic and let you know what the last few days have been like for me, and I really hope that they have been nourishing for you. So number one is N, of course, which stands for notice my emotions, which noticing my emotions has been very overwhelming for me these past few days. And I've really been noticing three main things. One, I've been noticing a great level of discomfort and a desire, maybe remember that amygdala response where we tend to want to fight, flight, meaning flee, or freeze when we encounter something that seems to be dangerous or threatening to us. Well, I've really noticed that it's like I've got this radar or this sensor where I feel very acutely what I interpret to be other people's expectations or desires of me, and I find them to be very weighty on me, and really they make me want to either freeze or flee. So that I've been noticing very heavily. The other thing I've been noticing is a lot of anxiety. So when I look back at so many of the adventures I've had over the years, I think, did I always have this anxiety? Did I just manage it with food and busyness and all the other things that I have used to block an awareness of my emotions up until this point in my life? Is that what happened, or was I just not anxious before and I'm anxious now? I think back to times, exploring other countries, moving to Asia for the first time when I was 16 years old, or going, my early 20s, I remember taking this backpacking trip with another single girlfriend to, just landing in Thailand and exploring Bangkok, and then deciding to head down to southern Thailand and roaming all around. And I think about those things now. I imagine my daughter's doing that and how petrified I would be. But I wonder, was I anxious at those times and just managing that anxiety with my eating disorder and with my other tools, or was I not as anxious? And you know what? I think I was anxious and just and fearful, and just managing that anxiety and those fearful thoughts with my intellect, with busyness, with numbing in different ways, and especially with the eating disorder and with binging and with constant, ruminating food thoughts as well. So now when I'm noticing the anxiety, like yesterday we were driving home from the trip, and all of a sudden it was like, I had this huge tightness in my chest, and this thought of what if I go home and the whole inside of my house is being burned to a crisp, or there's been a major flood, or something major bad has happened, and just these overwhelming anxious thoughts. So that's a big one. The other thing that I've noticed recently is shame, and my shame messages tell me that either I'm not enough, but more than that, my shame messages often tell me I'm too much. I'm too forward, I'm too intense, I'm too intimidating, I'm too whatever. And so, I had an experience really recently that's really fresh, that just it was something that intellectually I'm really grateful for, some feedback that I got from someone who it was really helpful. And yet I just could like feel this like welling up in me of this, you're too much. This is happening because you're just way too much, and you're hurtful and harmful to people in your intensity. So those are some of the emotions that I have been noticing. And opening up to others wasn't super possible while I was away, but really is always possible. And I'm really grateful for my faith and my relationship with God that I always have that opportunity to reach out and to find comfort in and with Him. But in terms of people with skin on, hasn't been lots of good opportunities to do that. Well, I was away on holidays, and the people that we were with were very generous, lovely, lovely people. But I'm just noticing that I have lots of people in my life who are wonderful people, who I love them and they love me, but maybe just don't have that ability to tune in on that emotional channel where I can feel emotionally safe and free to be transparent with them. So, which is as much my my hang up as it is maybe their more a comment on their capacity. So understanding the cycle. So the cycle has been really crazy for me lately. And I was already noticing it. As I mentioned, I was short on sleep. My husband went away. The cravings started immediately. And then we got ready for this trip. And while we were away on the trip, definitely, feeling a little bit out of my comfort zone, feeling some cravings stirring there, and didn't have, control over the type of food I was eating. And of course, I do not want to villainize or victimize any type of food. But I know that there are certain foods that just do not seem to work well for me, either because of the stage of recovery that I'm at, or just biologically, they don't make me feel good. And we ate a lot of them over the course of the days that we were away. And I just, not only do I feel kind of physically bad and bloated and kind of gross, but also I just felt like a fish on a hook on a line, or I just felt like so drawn and pulled towards just wanting to eat more and more and more, not having a shut-off valve, not having any feeling of fullness, like having physical bloated fullness, but no neurological sense that I'm full and I'm satisfied and I'm done, and just wanting more and more. And even after eating a huge meal, just wondering how can I get more, and fighting that desire to hide and to get more food, and not wanting to go into a full-on binge, but just everything in my body revved up, geared that way. So really disturbing, really upsetting, and yet encouraging that it's been quite a while since I've had that full-on drive to really feel really controlled by food. So I really have to watch that cycle in these what feel like kind of precarious days. So I do really want to prioritize rewiring my brain at this time. So already since I've been home, I got the bath filled, went for a walk, tried to do some deep breathing and really do lots of grounding techniques to help just kind of bring myself back down and start to nourish not only my body, but to start to nourish my mind and my soul as well. So hopefully I can start. I can notice it already. Some of these really disturbing or ruminating thoughts about food starting to dissipate. So, and of course I need sleep. But insulin from the eating. So yesterday was horrible. The last day of our trip. Again, no shut-off valve, eating all kinds of things that are not in line with my food values, and just really feeling horrible and feeling very, very out of control. Now, something happened last night that gave me a little bit of hope in this regard, which sounds silly, but I actually started my period, or started my cycle. Now, I don't know why that would be encouraging, but for me, what's encouraging about that is that it tells me that there was an emotional reason why my cravings were so strong, but that there were also more physical and hormonal reasons also that were impacting or maybe multiplying the impact of these cravings and making them really difficult. And what that means to me is that because that often happens to the buildup of my cycle starting, and then it gets easier after that. So that gave me some hope today to be able to get back to my nourishing practices and back to a nourishing way of eating, knowing that hopefully some of that hormonal drive for the cravings has been diminished, and so far that seems to be the case. So where am I at? So rewiring my brain, insulin-friendly eating, and the insulin-friendly eating I've just been like today, just really nourishing and nourishing by the clock and nourishing often and trying to sit down for my meals and nourish slowly. And so far that's been good. I had an apple bake this morning that was really yummy with coconut cream on top. And then for lunch, I had a beautiful salad with some roasted veggies, and I'm just trying to think of what my protein was. Salami and goat's cheese, and yeah, just really yummy. That my go-to avocado cilantro sauce. So, so far, I'm just trying to nourish myself completely with foods that satisfy, to try to keep away some of the cravings of that I was experiencing yesterday. Sleep has been better the last few days, although I'm yawning like crazy. But I've been going to bed early. When I put my kids to bed, I've been getting up once at around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, but then going back to sleep until 5 or 6. So I really am feeling that I'm starting to get into a little bit of a better sleep stride. I still would love to not have that wakeful time. And today I was going through some podcast notes from a podcast that, as you know, I really appreciate the work of Dr. Huberman. And Dr. Huberman was actually interviewing Matthew Walker, who I really appreciate all of his work in regards to sleep. So I'll put that podcast in show notes below. But already just, reading those over and thinking, is there anything different that I can be doing to help to maximize the amount of sleep that I'm getting? But I think that I'm doing pretty good. The one thing that stood out at me was that it said that midnight, in the middle of the night, waking is typical as you age. So I thought, okay, like maybe I just need to chalk this up to age and just go for it and not be so stressed about it. So that is very possible. Sleep. So hydration has been fine. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Trying to remember to hydrate well. And exercise I did get to while we were away. We were right in the ocean and had a couple of beautiful walks along the ocean, which was so delightful and nourishing in every way. And today I was back to my hiking through the mountains today. So I just find those times that enjoyable movement in nature so refreshing, rewarding, rewiring, calming, soothing. It's just such a critical piece for me. And it feels good to want to do it because I know it's going to make me feel better and not just because I feel like, oh, I need to exercise in order to burn off such and such a thing that I ate or something like that. So that feels like a really nourishing part of my day. And in terms of my reward, my reward I think right now is having the ability to and the time and the allowance to be able to invest in self-care. And I think that I used to think that self-care was maybe something that you did once a year or was like something for the rich and famous who could put cucumbers around their eyes and go to massage therapists and all of these sorts of things. But you know what? I'm realizing that the Nourisher acrostic really is all about self-care. And I was really encouraged because there's a women's health practitioner in Australia by the name of Emelisa, and she recently put out this blog post about self-care. And I was so encouraged by how many of the items in her list really mirrored the things that we're already prioritizing or I'm already practicing in the Nourisher acrostic. And things like just breathing, taking time to breathe, and she was encouraging hydration and encouraging reaching out to others and all of these things. It really made me think, yeah, these are this is the right path for me. These are the things that I need to continue to prioritize. So I want to encourage you in them too, and encourage you in wherever you're at right now to continue to nourish yourself and those around you. And I'm so thankful to have you with me on my journey, and I'm already looking forward to checking in with you again soon. Bye for now.